Well, I can tell you for a fact that the Navy Federal Go Biz Rewards card is a great card, okay? So in today's conversation, what I want to do, I wanted to share with you the top 5 hacks you need to implement today if you want to get the high limit you need and deserve. Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation of the Awesome Sort of Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you had to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka. Now let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to share with you the top 5 hacks that you need to implement today if you want to get the high limit that you need and deserve on the Navy Federal Go Biz Rewards card. Before we get into the top 5 hacks, I just want to remind everybody, what are we talking about here? We are talking about the Navy Federal Go Biz Rewards card, okay? It's a great business card. It has no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees. And if you have an average credit, if you have a fair credit, you can qualify for this card, which is really great, okay? And the thing is that the Navy Federal Go Rewards credit card is actually, they offer 3 points per dollar at restaurants, 2 points per dollar on gas, and 1 point per dollar on everything else, okay? So this is what we call an average rewards credit card, okay? And the cool thing is that you have a welcome bonus of 15,000 bonus points, which is a $150 value after spending $1,000 within 90 days of account opening. This is pretty good, okay? Plus, you have 0.99% intro APR on purchases for 6 months. This is really great. And so you have cell phone damage waiver, you have rental car damage protections, and you also have no foreign transaction fees. The cool thing about this card is that you can earn rewards several ways. Okay, so I already talked about 3 points per dollar at restaurants, 2 points per dollar on gas, 1 point per dollar on everything else. So if you just need to design your business spending in such a way that it matches the card rewards, okay? And rewards do not expire as long as the account remains open, and there is no limit on the amount of rewards that you can earn. This is really great. This is one thing we love with this card. And there are other cards benefits that you might want to find, you might find interesting. You have cell phone protection. This is really good for all your employees, okay? We're talking about rental collision damage waiver coverage. In other words, you can receive secondary coverage when you rent an eligible car and pay for it with your card. You have $0 for liability, okay? So as a cardholder and your employees, you're not responsible for unauthorized charges. You have FICO score access, and you have a basic Visa or MasterCard benefits. What I'm trying to say here is a solid card. It is the only business credit card offered by Navy Fed, and it has plenty of rewards. The only thing is you got to be very careful in terms of repayment, your payment history. This is very important, but also in terms of making sure that you actually you minimize your APR, you minimize your interest charges on the card, okay? It's because the APR ranges from 8.99% to 18%, because you have a 6-month intro APR of 0.99%. After that, you have to go to the regular 8.99 to 18%. All right, boss, I'm talking to you about the first hack. The first hack is business performance. See, when you have this card, let's say you have a card and let's say you've had a quarter or 6 months of high sales, high revenue. This is the good time to call Navy Fed. If you have new contract, let's say you sign a contract with you sign a 5-digit contract or a 4-digit contract or a 6-digit contract with a sizable company, with a significant client. This is the right time to call Navy Fed and request a credit limit increase. This is very important. Let's say you have had a quarter of record high revenue. In other words, things are going fine. Your business is booming. You're making money. This is a great time to ask for a limit increase, because what's going to happen is that they're going to check their internal metrics. They're going to check your external metrics, such as your FICO score and whatnot, and they will realize that, hey, this business is doing fantastic, and they will raise your limit, okay? And also, if you have positive trends in the industry, let's say, the industry is booming, is increasing by double-digit revenue, for instance, so it's not just you. Everybody else in the industry is just growing. This is the right opportunity. This is the right time to call for and request a credit limit increase. Have you had media mentions in the last 4, 3, 2 months? Has CNBC talked about you? Fox News Channel? Have you received the local media coverage? The whole thing is you want to actually call Navy Fed when there is a positive aura, what I call a positive aura around your business. Okay, things are going fine. You are making sales, you're making revenue, you're making new contracts, and the numbers are good. You are growing. And so what you want to do is you call at that moment and you can tell them, hey, listen, I'm just doing fantastic. And if they want to check, they will check and they will realize that, hey, indeed, this person, this business is doing fantastic. So when Navy Fed sees that, when they see a trend, when they see positive trends surrounding your business, it is a great time for them to raise you, and they will raise you because they see that, hey, listen, not only do you have sales, in other words, you have the revenue needed to repay whatever you charge on the card, right? And not only that, but also everybody else in your industry is just making money. Okay, so business performance. If you have a record high business performance, this is the first hack. This is the first opportunity. This is the first time that you need to call Navy Fed and request a credit line increase. Second hack. Let's say you just had a full payment. Okay, you just paid your balance in full. Let's say you carried $2,000 on your credit card, on your Navy Fed GO BIZ rewards card, right? And so your balance is zero, right? And what you want to do is you want to pay 2 or 3 days before, so that when they report your balance to the credit bureaus, your CUR will be zero or close to zero. Okay, and this is the time you want to call Navy Fed. You want to call them up and say, listen, hey, I have, I just paid my balance. I mean, they'll see it anyway. But the one thing you want to do is explain to them that everything is fine. You just need more limit because of business opportunities. You want to charge certain things on the card and whatnot. Okay. So if you just paid your balance in full, this is the great time to call for a request for a line increase request. Another opportunity is if you have a very low utilization ratio. I'm talking about 5 to 10% on the card, on the Navy Fed GO BIZ rewards card. Okay, so if you cannot achieve 0%, try to be in single digit. If you have 5 to 10%, they will work with you. The whole thing is that you can't go by the traditional 33%, 35%, and whatnot, because that's kind of high. If you want to have a line increase, you want to appear that you really don't need the money. That's the trick, boss. See, the thing is, if they realize you don't need the money, they'll give it to you. And if they realize you need it, then it becomes a complicated proposition. Okay, so and try to keep 5 to 10% on the card if you can't pay the full balance. Okay, remember that and one thing that's very important, your overall CUR, your overall credit utilization ratio on all business credit cards that you carry must be less than 20%. 20%. So if you have a Chase Inc., you have a Wells Fargo Business Credit or Business Platinum, you have a PNC Business Platinum, whatever you have, make sure that the aggregate balance, the outstanding balance is 20% of your overall limit. Okay, and if you have that, Navy Fed will boost your limit, your credit limit. Very important. And always, whenever you have someone on the call, our recommendation is to always be at the branch, to go to the branch and talk to someone. If you can't go to the branch, not a problem. You can actually pick up the phone and just talk to someone. And in any conversation, please mention the strong financial position your business happens to be in. The third hack, very important, boss. I want you to listen to me right now. Third hack is if you have a big purchase. Yeah, that works all the time. So what you want to do is you want to pay your balance. You really want to, let's say you have an upcoming big purchase, right? You want to charge 10 grand on that credit card because you have inventory coming from China and you just want to seize the opportunity. The margins are high, everything looks good. You know you're going to sell the inventory. It's just because right now you're in an industry where cyclicality and seasonality are just forcing you to buy the inventory, store it, and just wait for November or whatever to sell it, right? So what you want to do is, if you have an upcoming big purchase, this is a good time to call Navy Fed. Okay, obviously when you call them up, you have to explain two important things, boss. I want you to write it down. First, you have to explain to them how the big purchase relates to your business. That's very important. That's number one. In other words, let's say you're buying inventory for you buying toys, right? You got to tell them, hey, listen, I'm in the toy business, and this is a great opportunity. I found this supplier, and his or her prices are dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to explain. The second thing you need to explain is that you need to explain how the purchase will help you make more money. See, this duality is important. If you just do one, it wouldn't really work. You got to do two. You got to explain first that the purchase relates to your business. And number two, the purchase will add more revenue, will add more value to your business. If you can do that, if you can solve that equation impeccably, you will get the limit that you need. Okay, make sure that when you are on the phone or when you go to the branch, I want you to sound convincing. I don't want you to, like start a no. Be convincing. You want to be compelling. You want to have a very compelling argument here. Okay, very important. Now, one thing that you really need to do also is you need to consider your repayment plan. Let's say you charge $10,000 on the card, right? Now you have to think about, hey, I'm going to pay this over 12 months, or I'm going to pay this over 3 months. You need to think about the repayment plan. It's important because that money and it's not going to disappear. Somebody got to pay for it, right? And it's you. That person is you. Okay. But the bottom line is you want to mention the operational significance of the purchase. Okay. Mention that to the rep and make sure that you sound convincing. Very important. Hack number 4. That's a good one. We love this one. You have high scores. And I'm talking about high scores not only personally, but also business-wise. When you have a high FICO score, this is the good time to call Navy Fed and request a line increase. Yeah, if you are in the 700s, this is a great territory to be in, boss. I'm telling you. It's just fantastic. If you are 725, 750, this is the time to call Navy Fed and say, hey, listen, my FICO is good because there is a strong correlation, right? There's a strong correlation between your FICO score, which is an external metric, and your Navy Fed internal score, which is an internal metric. So chances are, if you have a high FICO score externally, you are having a great Navy Fed internal score. Okay, so when we talk about high scores, we're talking about not only personal credit score, but we're also talking about business credit scores. So if you happen to be in a very good turf credit-wise at the business level, let's say your Paydex is around 80, your Equifax is kind of good, your Experian is kind of good, all numbers are really good, all your metrics are rosy. This is a good time to call Navy Fed, and you really want to sound convincing. You really want to sound compelling on the phone so that they can give you the limit. That do you want 10 grand? Do you want 15 grand? Do you want 5,000? Do you want 20,000? What do you need? Talk to me about that. The funny thing is we hear this all the time. People write down, well, the maximum limit you can get on a Navy Fed GO BIZ rewards card is $25,000. Wrong. Hey, wrong. Right now, we have people in our team who have a Navy Fed GO BIZ rewards card with $75,000. So don't listen to people telling you, hey, there's a 25,000. It's how you approach the whole equation. It's how you actually apply. There's a logic here. There's a code. There's a formula. And if you learn how to codify the whole application process, you'll get the limit you need, and not the teeny weeny yellow polka dotted bikini $25,000 people are telling you. No, you can get more than that. Okay, and let's say if you just remove the big derogatory item from your FICO score, that means your FICO score is going up. It's a great opportunity. It's a great time to call. Okay, or you just paid all your credit accounts at month end. I'm talking about the business credit accounts, your net 30 accounts. You paid everything. It's a good time to call. It's better to apply 2 to 3 days before the end of your cycle, because what's going to happen is that, let's say your cycle is the 30th. If you make your payments by the 28th, it's great to call. It's great to make all your payment by the 28th, so that when the reports go to the CRA, the credit reporting agencies, everybody knows, oh, this person is really clean. So, okay, pick up the phone when you have a high scores and request a line increase. Hack number 5. And this is important. You want to mention the relationship. You want to mention the solidity, the strength of your relationship with Navy Fed. Don't underestimate that, boss. Okay? A lot of folks, when you talk to them about, oh, you better have a relationship, they're like, oh, I'm applying for credit. Why does a relationship matter? Hey, listen, everything matters, okay? And credit is first and foremost a human experience. If they like you, if they know you, they'll give you the credit you need. I don't care whatever you learn in the books, whatever. I'm talking to you from experience, what we do every day with our clients, and what we have learned on what we see on the ground. So try to mention, if you have a strong multi-product relationship with Navy Fed at the personal level, mention that. If you have a strong relationship with Navy Fed at the business level, you want to mention that. It's all about leveraging your relationship so that you can tell them, hey, listen, I've been with you guys for 20 years now. It's about, and not only am I financially robust, my numbers are clean, my numbers are green. It's about time you guys kind of raise my limits. Yeah, you can mention that. Sometimes you'll be surprised just mentioning the relationship. Of course, the relationship has to be clean. If you have a rocky relationship with Navy Fed, you can't call in just to mention that relationship, right? It has to be clean, okay? And indicate the length of history. Are we talking 10 years here? What are we talking about? Hey, boss, talk to me. 5 years, 15 years, 20 years? What are we talking about? 20 years? Good. Mention the variety of accounts that you are holding at the personal level, okay? And mention also the diversity of accounts you are holding at the business level. Everything counts, everything goes. I don't care. I mean, the whole thing is that your job is to make sure they understand that you have been a loyal customer who needs to be rewarded. And the rewards here is what? A higher limit on the Navy Fed GO BIZ rewards credit card. And if you do a good job at convincing them, if you do a good job at actually writing down everything, because you have to plan the conversation. You can't just pick up the phone and say, hey, listen, I feel good today. I'm going to call Navy Fed and just ask for a limit increase. It doesn't work that way. That's an amateur mistake. That's a rookie mistake. You got to plan it. You got to write it down. It's like an interview. It's like a phone interview or an interview at the branch. You have to practice it before calling them. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome City Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation today about the Navy Federal GO BIZ Rewards credit card, and I'm sure I've shared with you the top 5 hacks that you need to implement to get the limit increase that you need. Now, everything is not always rosy. Sometimes you might be rejected, whatever, So what happens when you get rejected? There are a couple of things you can do. First thing first, you want to ask why you were rejected, because, hey, listen, if your ask was rejected, there has to be a reason, right? And by law, Navy Fed has to tell you why they denied you. It's all about making sure that everybody's on the same page about the criteria for approval, right? So that next time you apply, you know exactly against which criteria you are being judged, because it wouldn't be fair otherwise, right? So they have to tell you. And you want to wait for 6 to 12 months. That's a good delta to wait for. And you want to really rethink your strategy. You want to rethink your formula for applying, okay? You don't apply for a Navy Fed credit card, business credit card, or personal credit card, or any other credit card for that matter. You do not apply randomly. It takes a code. It takes logic. It takes preparation, okay? You got to codify the whole thing. You need to codify the whole thing and fix whatever caused the rejection. Was it a business plan that was poorly written? Was it your financials that were I would say negative? Because if you have poor financial data, you can't get an increase on your Navy Fed GO BIZ Rewards credit card. That makes sense, right? Let's talk about that, boss. So those are things you have to think about. So what's causing the rejection? They will tell you, and think about fixing them. Sometimes this could be that you have a poor personal credit score. Your FICO is kind of low, okay? Your FICO is low, not a problem. take a deep breath, wait for 3-6 months, fix whatever needs to be fixed, remove whatever derogatory item you have on your score, on your report rather, and reapply. Okay, do you have a low business credit score? Oh well, it's about time you applied for that. You had more net 30 vendors. Okay, it's about time you get a secured business credit card. For example, the one from Wells Fargo is kind of cool, so that you can beef up your credit score and come strong the second time. Or is it because there is some kind of recency on the last credit limit increase request? In other words, your last increase request is too recent. Like you probably applied 3 months ago or 2 months ago. So they just don't want to hear from you all the time. Okay. Or do you have a low Navy Fed internal score? As I told you earlier, there's a strong correlation between your Navy Fed internal score and your FICO external score, right? So those two are very important. So if your FICO score is low, chances are your Navy Fed internal score will also be low. So the bottom line is you want to ask the reasons why you were rejected so that you can fix them and reapply strong the next time. All right, folks, thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was actually talking to you quickly about Navy Fed GO BIZ Rewards credit card, 5 hacks to get you the high limits you need and deserve. Number 1, think about business performance. Number 2, full payments. Number 3, big purchase. Number 4, high scores. Number 5, relationship. And I give you some pro tips about how to actually react if you were rejected. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.